How's it, Gaten? I got the code yet, dog. I say a lot of controversial. Case in point, when the open chats thing happened, I resigned from the race.
You resigned.
I said, I'm a Mexican Zulu. As my own label. I mean, the Avenge for apartheid game, you know what I mean? You gotta smash as many whites as possible. You know that Chris XL handle on?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's my brow on Twitter.
Oh, so you actually know who he is?
Shout out Chris XL, but I've stolen now your post. You're not on podcast. It's like the offense Olympics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who can be more offended? A lot of like middle-aged white people will come to me like, yeah, that guy from Mnet. And I'm like, yes, I am. Where's your daughter?
Yeah.
The revenge for apartheid game. It's no shade. Like, if you catch feelings, I don't give a f. Now
Let's
there's
go.
freezing claps. Okay,
All right, let's
I'm
rock and
ready.
roll. Warwick Stock. Is that right? Did I say it right?
Warwick.
Warwick.
Yes.
Private school Warwick.
Yeah. Or you can call me Warwick. Or you can...
Warwick.
Yeah, bro. Or like black people call me Warren.
Warren.
Hey, Warren.
Warren.
Who the fuck is
But
Warren?
it's DJ Warras, Shady Lurker.
Yes, sir.
And now we're undergoing a rebrand.
No, not even yet.
Not even
That's
yet.
on- Still
Yeah.
coming.
Still
I've
coming.
been toying with this idea, like, because I want to get back into music.
Right.
I used to DJ, but DJing 10 years ago was very different to DJing now. And I feel like there's this massive wave demand globally for our sound.
Yeah.
So what I think makes sense is that if you've got an existing brand and you've got some sort of brand equity, I've always loved music. I started out as a music guy. Like in 2008, I was going with DJ Monday to gigs at like venues that, bro, if I had to mention them now, it'll like bring back a lot of memories for people where those were like the spots, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like emalokshini, like kasi venues, you know what I'm saying? That I'd go with Monday to. Just purely for the love of music, you know what I'm saying? So music has always been something that I've loved. I've always been passionate about music. But because of how DJing has become in the last few years post-COVID, you kind of lose the love for it because it's almost like it's not taken seriously anymore by the market. So when the bookings and stuff come from the clubs and festivals, you need to come there and show bums. Nah, I don't have bums. So how am I going to get gigs? Because I don't have bums. You understand? Then if I ask for my price and I want to play what I was playing, let's say, for example, in 2021, I'm making an example. They're like, you know, the thing is, bro, I don't know if you've heard of this new boy. Like who? They're like, no, Chucks. Hey, he comes and then he shakes his palms.
Yeah.
Can you shake
He
bums?
can tell us.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get
I'm
what
like,
you're
I don't want to
saying.
shake bums with Chucks. I saw him when he walked into the studio. He's back in heat. Did you go for BBL or?
There's no bum, bro. But you know the DJing thing you're talking about. I always see like the guys they performing their sets on TikTok and stuff, and some of their sets they're quite nice.
They're
bro.
nice.
That's where the wave is at, bro.
Yeah.
Like you see those TikTok sets and YouTube sets. There's a guy, I'm sure you've heard of Clint L.
Clint L.
Look at the views that Clint L gets on YouTube.
Yeah.
And if you think about where did Clint L come from, like the first I heard of Clint L, I was at like somebody's house for like a house party. And what do people do at a house party? They're like, oh, put on music. They put the TV on,
that
they say
always-
YouTube, they say whatever speaker system, soundbar.
Yeah.
That mix that time, I think was on like 2 million views. He's at like flipping Gary Romer, like some hairdresser there. He's playing a DJ
And
set.
he's getting cut while he's getting the
That's
cut.
it,
That one,
right?
the barbershop.
That one.
That plays. That's like the new Kenny G, bro, for colored people.
You see what I mean? For colored people, that has become like an institution,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Another one is DJ Jazzy D.
Yeah.
That guy, he's been
Always.
DJing since apartheid.
Yeah.
You see
He's
now.
just evolved, right?
Yeah.
He has this mix on YouTube, DJ Jazzy D, where he's got a microphone, he's playing his set, and he's doing almost like a set like he would be doing at
a
like
club,
those old school colored clubs. He's
Yeah.
like, yo, everybody put your hands up.
Yeah.
I know you know this one.
Yeah.
And then he puts it in. Shit is on like 1 million plus views, bro.
Hey, but are people partying though, bro? Because you know,
I thought actually with DJ Jazzy D, I thought he made Lady Soul. I thought that was his track.
Oh.
Yeah, that,
I always thought that was his song because of the way it was played.
it's his bootleg.
Yeah. And he actually sent it. That was
Right.
that was the one.
Even if he wasn't the one who like produced that song, bro,
Yeah.
that song literally was so big. It was the song that like put him on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
You can't have New Year's Eve at a colored event without that song playing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's like
Up to
a
now.
staple for colored
Up to now.
people.
yes,
Up to now. That song plays at 11:59.
yes.
Yeah, well, colored people have been playing the same music at their parties since
Forever.
1993.
Forever. Yeah.
I had to learn how to jazz, bro.
And we can't say Wait, that's so hard. Can you jazz?
I had to learn because that's my wife, bruh. So
Yeah.
I had to learn how to jazz. And hey, they don't leave the dance floor, bro.
Calicos can move.
They don't leave the dance floor.
It's a movement, bro.
Yeah,
But if you call it as like a rite of passage, you have to know how to jazz.
You
Learning
have
how
to.
to walk is like
It's like
learning how to
language.
jazz. Yeah.
I used to have a colored girlfriend that, like, every Sunday we would go with her family to this place in Joburg. It's called Poppies.
Yeah.
And Poppies was like that colored party
Yeah.
venue. It was in Melville in Joburg. On Sundays they'd have prawns, like a prawn lunch,
Yeah.
a prawn curry, a prawn this, prawn that, fried prawns, langoustines, what.
Yeah.
So you had to book a table and you had to pull up. And then the headliner would be like Dr. Victor and the Rasta
Yeah.
Rebels.
Yeah.
And I remember like the first time she was like, yo, this is where we're going. The whole family, we pulling in. I was like, bruh, I'm not trying to go to this. What kind of old school party is this, I had the fucking best time because you eat the fucking prawn lunch. Dr. Victor and them hit the stage and then you're jazzing with the auntie, you're jazzing with the mom, you're jazzing with your bae, you're jazzing. Then you have to brush up on your jazz skills.
I met Dr. Victor and them at a wedding, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never heard of these guys, but we were jamming. Never heard of them.
And they're a vibe, eh?
Yo,
They come with that
vibe.
live band element
Yeah.
where even if you, like everybody knows at least one song of those old
Exactly.
school. That's, to answer like your DJing
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
It's like, there used to be like a legacy that people would build with their music and with their performance.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I know that when I met Shimza, when he was wearing school pants and a Bertram's VO t-shirt.
Yo.
He's my dude, you know what I'm saying? The first person, when I had an opportunity to say, which DJ do you want on your show at YFM for the mixes? We used to have a mix called YTKO. I was like, Shimza.
Sure.
Because what I knew of that guy is every time I would see him perform, when he turned it on with effects and he, you know what I mean? Sundays we used to play at Joe's Butcher. These are all things that perhaps didn't matter at the time globally, but they were a big deal for where they were happening. And that guy, my man, what I see him doing now on the biggest stages in the world, it's the same guy that I know that was DJing, winning DJ competitions, flipping 15 years ago. So there's almost like this legacy that people build with their name. When you think Black Coffee, the DJ, what do you think of? You think of taken over internationally, biggest DJ in the world.
Kent.
When you think of Kent,
Yo.
guaranteed banger. You understand?
Yeah.
But if I have to list a lot of new names, and it's no shade, like if you catch feelings, I don't give a fuck. But if you think of a lot of these new names that have come up in the last like 3 to 5 years, it's very forgettable. And I don't think it does justice to the art form. Because how is it possible that we have these niggas and then Sigfriga Labanye, and it's like, it's almost like the art form is watered down and it's losing that
Value.
emphasis.
Yeah.
And what I noticed post-COVID is that you come back in and you're like, yo, Warras, book me, right? Cats are like, the rates are lower. That's number one. Number two is the type, they start telling you what you must come and play.
What is the number for the rates now?
Now,
Sort of,
bro, niggas will be offering like 5 grand, 8 grand.
Yeah.
It will be the same guy that
for an
was
hour,
paying you
for an
like
hour.
20K 3 years ago for an
like a-
hour.
Yeah.
That's because of the market now.
Yeah, and look, it's not to say, fuck, you guys pay me, I'm important. Of course not. Obviously, I'm not as relevant as a DJ in 2025 as I was in 2015. Like, I often go on Facebook for throwbacks and to check out, like, what do my exes look like?
Oh, yeah. Gotta check the old CV. Make sure the CV.
You gotta
the
make
CV
sure.
strong.
You gotta make
When you
sure.
hit the Facebook there, it'll say this memory from when, right? And the other day, one came up, it was like, oh, this memory from 10 years ago, like 2015. It was that weekend of Youth Day, June 16 weekend. Bro, I had 17 gigs on that weekend of June 16.
Yo.
And when I look at those venues and those gigs, wherever I was playing, there I was clocking minimum 10K. 10K was a favor rate, up to like 25 for one of those gigs. Now
Yeah.
times that by 17. It tells you now how attractive DJing was 10
Yes.
years ago.
Yes.
Now, it's not to say that I'm arrogant, but I don't understand how has the market moved, how has it regressed by like 80% to the point where now in 2025, some of the same people that were on that flyer in 2015 who were paying 10K are talking about, yo, can you pull up? We'll give you a table, bottles, and 2.5.
Yeah,
and then you're
I
like,
see
my
that.
nigga, what the fuck? Take me seriously. And then they're like, oh, but Chucks will do it for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Chucks, eh? You understand?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Chucks? Then I check, Chucks is full of bums.
Yeah.
You understand? Like then I just feel like, That's not gonna work, bro. You know?
Yeah.
And your Dr. Victors and your black coffees and your shimzas and your Tembas, the guys that are doing it big for us internationally, your Kens, these are the people that I consider serious DJs. These are the people that I consider credible DJs. They are not doing it like that. They're not playing for bottles. They're not playing at tape. So it's almost like if you're going to do it properly.
Yeah.
You guys look at your podcast. You could have just done it in a bedroom, spoke shit, and done it like talking into your phone. You understand? It's still a podcast.
Yeah.
Or you could have done it on a screen on a Zoom call. But now I pull up here, I see you guys got like $500,000 rand worth of cameras.
Easy.
I won't lie. Until I pulled up, I didn't take you seriously. Then I saw the hotel, the Bruce booked me in, bro. Like I'm staying
Relax, guys.
we gotta make sure the experience is good.
At the same time, it's hectic to build a brand, like a black
it's hard,
coffee
and
stuff like that. And sometimes there's areas where they do take advantage of it. The new guys coming in, they're coming in at a low rate. And
but they bring in the whole market to that.
But
because now you're like, I can get 10 guys for 2.5
Yes.
instead of booking one guy for 25.
Exactly.
But wasn't it the reason for you guys being so expensive because you could pull more people to the event?
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
I think at the time that we were that expensive or what the rates were, the market dictated what you had to pay DJs. That's a very good point. In that, that flyer of that weekend, I remember that time, like 2015, 14, 13. If we traveled, for example, with 5FM, for a 5FM partnered event, we came down to Durban and we were at the Polito Pro.
Yeah.
My man, it was raining. It was fucking cold because that thing is in winter.
Yeah.
But there was like 20,000 people on that beach.
Sure.
Right? Now, if you are charging 25K, I'm making an example, whoever you are as a DJ,
it's a drop in the
to play
ocean.
at that thing. Because there's 20,000 people in attendance, it makes sense. But if you are charging 25K and you're playing at what the clubs look like now, where it's only tables in the club, there's no real dance floor. Right? The only dancing really that's going on is whatever's happening on that stage in front of the DJ box. And again, it's bums. It's the dancers of the club. Maybe there's one or two in a cage here and there, right? You DJing there's only 400 people maximum in this club and 80% of them on table. Does it make financial sense to pay Josh 25K when I don't have a festival level type event? But the festivals that are there, they now also demand that they book an even bigger headliner. They're not going to book Warras, bro. I assure you, if they book Warras, 20,000 people are not going to come. I mean, I'm not delusional. But now you've got to pay what rate to get that 20,000 people to come. So you're right. There is some sort of a correlation between what cats are paying and what people can actually draw. So a lot of people, like when you, like I do a lot of work in media. So you'll have to contact someone. It's like if I call you boys and I say, hey, gents, there's a sponsorship like this, like that. I'm going to say to you, the sponsorship is 500,000. You're going to say to me, my man, we don't move for under 1.5 bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is cool. That's your thing, right? If you've got the numbers or the stats to say, this is why I want 1.5 bar, I have to find you 1.5 bar, right? But if you don't, and you're just like, nah, dog, did you see my TikToks, my man? Me, I'm trending. You understand? That's what's like happening. If I said that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of late, I've been trending on TikTok. But I can't be telling cats, my man, me, I'm trending on TikTok. Now I want 100,000.
But it's the TikTokers that have messed up the market, bro. Because everybody's an influencer because of TikTok now.
Everyone's a DJ.
Everybody's a DJ. Everyone's
Correct.
an influencer. Like, if you look at the TikTok space in KZN, no shade to anyone here. Oh, heavy. That's your boy and coffee.
Now. He's 16
With
now.
black
This-
coffee.
He was
With
like
coffee.
4 years old there with black coffee. And this is at Shimza's Thanksgiving event.
Oh, sure.
So there's an event Shimza had in Tembisa for free chow, free everything. Bro, this is in 2015, 14,
Sure.
right?
That
Maybe
was when
even
coffee was just-
no way. If Ethan was 4, it's like 2013, bro.
Yeah.
And coffee just came to mix for free, to play for free, because him and Shimza, you know what I mean? They're proofs.
Yeah.
Not knowing in
You
hindsight.
It's gonna be this.
It's almost like I know where the thing comes from.
Yeah.
it would be disrespectful for me to just enter now because of palms.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden I'm there and I'm playing music that I don't even play or I'm not even passionate about. Now I'm an R&B DJ because I want to be like Clint L.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I'd never be that cat, bro.
You need to be authentic to
Yeah.
yourself.
But
that's
yes,
what I'm
you were
saying.
saying, young Josh.
TikTok, like
Yeah.
with all these young kids in KZN, there's so many now. I see them make reels and skits, but now they're hosting club events as well. These same skit guys.
Bro.
Now it's like so and so is hosting a big event. Pull up, it's 80 rand a ticket. You get to take pictures with this TikToker, bro.
My man.
That's what I'm saying. It's affected the industry because now there's no longer those authentic stars. It's just numbers on TikTok that have made you a star.
Yeah.
Or
Or you
what
just need to-
what do you have the numbers for?
Or maybe you just need to work harder to become that authentic star.
So
Or
maybe it's
does
the
it-
start for them.
Ah,
They-
Well,
the-
look,
they're the
it's
start
a good
stages,
thing,
maybe,
right?
yeah.
Like my thing is, it's very hard to build a following anyway.
Yeah,
Whether you're
yeah.
building a following on TikTok, Instagram,
Yeah.
X, a podcast, flipping anywhere on any platform where you expect people to like your stuff, see your stuff,
Yeah.
and buy into your stuff.
Yeah.
Right? It's difficult to build a following. But by the same token, once you've built that following, I feel like it also comes with a certain level of responsibility, right? I mean, we've just had a recent example where there's the Open Chats guys have got a massive podcast with a massive following, but they're irresponsible with being the custodians of that. You see, you go on the thing and then you say dumb shit. And then it's
Yeah.
like, why are you doing that? You've already got the following. People already watch your shit. You don't have to say stuff to break the internet in order
Even
to...
more.
Yeah, you right.
But their platform, respectfully, great numbers. But I feel like the numbers with those sort of platforms correlate directly to the stuff they speak about. Because it's not just now with the colored people
Cool.
story.
Yeah.
It's always been some hectic stuff.
Right. Now, then my question to you is, if you've already done that stuff, you've built the following, now you are here.
Yeah.
Should you now continue doing stuff that could get you cancelled? Remember when you've got 100 followers and you say some dumb shit and
Yeah.
you get cancelled, you don't care.
Because
you know,
on
like that slick talk guy.
Yeah.
You know
Yes,
that?
I remember
Bro,
Slick Talk.
since the jump, that guy's been saying the most reckless stuff
Yeah.
because he didn't care. He's broadcasting from his room. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's very witty. He's very articulate.
Yeah.
And the stuff he was saying was very funny. But a lot of it was very nasty, bro. Like he was talking serious shit. But now that if you look at his more recent content, he still talks shit and he's almost like he's not saying stuff to get himself sued.
Yeah.
There's a
He's
little
almost more
milk.
careful.
There's a little milk now in the coffee.
That's it.
With the open chats guys though, after this whole incident they had in another episode, you could almost see the body language now in the new episodes is they don't have anything else but the toxic chats
Well,
to talk about. So now it's
they need
looking
to
a bit
search
dry.
within themselves.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So their platform's been built on that, but is there anything more, any more substance other than talking about bums?
But that's what we want
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
I do think there is. You know, like even when you're talking shit, dog.
Yeah.
You know, what we're doing here now,
Yeah.
a lot of people cannot do.
Yeah.
90% of people. Just to speak publicly, speak on an interview.
Yeah.
Also just clam up, you know.
I hear that. Yeah.
I was laughing. There's a friend of mine, Jevan Binder. He's a DJ. He's the biggest Jewish DJ in the Jewish game.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And I interviewed him on our podcast. And when we were talking off air, remember I speak to this guy all the time. I've known him for 10 years. He's my
Yeah,
guy. He's
yeah.
Jeff the Jew. When I speak to him like we're speaking now, when we're speaking like off air, he has a way, he has a demeanor, there's a certain way he conducts himself.
Yeah.
As soon as we switched on the cameras in that podcast,
trouble.
my man,
It's trouble.
he was just like, yo, bro, you know, a lot of guys are getting, and then I'm like, now, I laugh because I'm like, oh, what kind of stuff?
what's wrong with
Like,
this guy?
he's putting on his Bonang voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's putting on
yeah.
his Bonang voice for me. And then I'm like, Chip.
It's not the same
So
old.
a lot of people struggle with that. Those boys, what you see is what you get. They get on there, they speak freely, they speak like they are
Yeah.
amongst bras, which is how it should be. That's a positive.
Yeah.
The problem is like, there's a certain amount of broadcast training
Yeah.
and broadcast etiquette that I think comes with having a platform. It's the same with you guys.
Yeah.
You need to just watch how you move. It's not hard, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that you say. When you say them, you know,
Yeah.
I just made kak.
Yeah.
I say a lot of controversial shit. That's how I went viral in this past year on the podcast I was on. I
Yeah.
was saying stuff that can be considered controversial.
Yeah.
But it's my opinion. I wasn't offending anybody. Certainly, I hope not. You understand? And most of it is where I can. I'm trying to obviously base my opinion on facts that I've read researched and understand properly,
You see,
so I can take it apart.
I
If
think-
it's something I don't understand, I stay away from it.
I hear that.
You know, I don't have to be a pro on every
that.
topic, bro.
I think with that, bruh, with what he was saying right on that podcast, from what he said, I think he got chowed by the game by a colored girl. Because you know, lots of colored chicks will say, "That's my cousin." You know, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. That's a topic because there's always you always get the cherry saying, "Hey, bro, that's my cousin. Relax." Bro.
And vice versa. You know how many girls
how
I've
many
said that
cousins?
to?
You know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You always you're like, "Hey, this is my cousin, bro. Relax."
Yeah,
it's nothing like
not,
that.
it's not real.
Meanwhile, he was probably getting the game played in there. That's what that was for me.
Bro, like,
I think you might be onto something.
Am I
here,
right?
bro. You might be onto something.
Color cherries and color nose, bro. In general, we're like, hey, bro, that's my cousin.
That's my
Don't
cousin.
stress about him. That's my cousin, bro. Don't stress.
where did
That's
you
my
find
cousin.
this man?
I
bro?
know this story.
Hold
bro.
on, let me
You know that chat, dog.
How's it, Gaten? I got the cold yet, dog.
But it's
I
I think he was just talking about like what had happened to
Hey,
him.
it was
It just came across very, very.
But you know,
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
he been talking about what had happened to him, there would have
That's
been
what
no
I'm
grounds
saying.
for
Different
cancellation.
story.
Because he could have said, hey, I had a
yes.
cherry, a colored chick.
Yeah.
She said to me, this is Akazi. Meanwhile, she was trolling me.
All he had to say
Simple.
was, I had.
Yeah.
If the word
Yeah.
I was included there,
Yeah.
there's no cause for
I hear that.
alarm.
I hear that.
You see?
I hear that.
Because it's my personal story
Exactly.
about my personal girlfriend in my personal opinion.
The
You can't tell
problem
me.
was what everyone jumped on and started saying, like, oh, they're crazy, da 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 da
that's
da
what
da da
happens
da.
when
Then it started
conversation
flowing,
snowballs.
and now everyone's
Yes.
just snowballing. But yo, it
And
takes
it's
one
snowboard into hell.
into hell.
Into
Because
hell.
the whole colored community, bro, this thing was on the church groups even. On WhatsApp. That's when you know when the
Except
aunties
I
are
had
sharing
cousins
it.
calling
Yeah.
me, people I haven't spoken to for years.
Yeah.
That were calling me like, Exe, what kind of those? Are you going to say something? And I'm like, what must I say? They're like, Exe, you need to tune something. I know you here on the media. They can't tune about us like that. Others were calling me, like my other cousin from Eldos, he's like, hey, Vakre guy Owens, he's like, where can I find those ones? I said,
man,
hey, relax. What do you
relax.
mean? Obviously, I know he's joking, but at the same time, he is basically echoing a sentiment that's happening in it. Because now when this thing is being discussed around dinner tables, at braais, in little communities, at school, between colored people, they're not discussing it from a viewpoint of level-headedness. They're like, hey, fuck those ones, we'll show them. Yeah, if I can catch this one. And I saw on TikTok, the commentary on it and the backlash on it was like that. Now, like you say, they did a follow-up episode. Like they've had an episode since they removed that episode.
Yeah.
Their whole demeanor now, it's like the wind is knocked out of their
They're in
sails.
fear, bro.
Now I'm not getting authentic open chats.
Now you're
now
not.
it's a fuck up.
That's
because
what I'm saying.
I tune in for that same controversy, spicy, whatever.
Because it's built that genre for them. People are watching for that.
Now
it's
Guys,
yes.
but guys, look at how well Mac G runs his show there, bro.
True.
He does not.
But he also fucks up from time to time.
Yeah, he does. He does.
He
But,
says some
but he's
wild
still.
things as well.
He'll come to the next episode and he'll be like, still we go. These are for my
he
chillers.
has to do that, Chucks.
Yeah.
But my thing is, and Mac G is my friend. I host his podcast when he's away. They always call me to guest host. Sol is my bra. I worked with both of them at YFM. They're my dudes, you know?
Yeah.
I've known Mac G since 2008. We started at Y together.
Hey.
So like we're coming long, you know? I used to do 12 to 3, midnight to 3. He used to do 3 to 6 a.m.s.
Jeez, like,
So we used to spend like 6 hours together a night for fucking almost 2 years. You know, he's my guy.
Your guy.
But he moved from there, he went to 947. And Mac G's always been that guy, like, you know, stirring controversy. And if you look at his podcast, if we count the number of incidents that have gotten him cancelled,
yeah.
it's less that you can count them on one hand. Okay? How many episodes has that guy done? He's been doing that podcast since 2019.
For
or something,
long.
right?
Yeah.
2018. I was first on it in 2018, I think.
Yo.
So in 7 years, let's say, he's had, let's call it 5 regrettable incidents. Okay? In that time, those 5 regrettable incidents have contributed to a following of people that are
Growth.
like, this is our guy because he doesn't give a fuck. Because when people tune into podcasts, they tune in for raw, unfiltered, uncensored chats, long form chats, not time limited fucking mainstream media type shit, right?
Yeah.
They tune in because they want to hear what your guest's opinion is and what your opinion is. Over time, they start to build a sort of like, trust and like an expectation to say, I know what Josh, I want to see what Josh says about this.
Yeah.
Case in point, when the open chats thing happened, my phone was blowing up. People wanted to know, what do I have to say?
What do you have to say?
You understand what I'm
Because
saying?
you're like the colored guy that everyone's going to look to be fighting.
I'm not even a colored guy
Exactly.
anymore.
I heard you say that.
I resigned from the race.
You resign. I still don't know. What? He's like, I'm out. I'm out.
You know, honestly,
that's what happens when a colored girl chows you as well.
When
You're
I
like,
said
I'm
that
out,
shit,
I'm
right?
done.
When I said that shit, it went like super viral.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's an example of what can I say here
Yeah.
that's going to send this thing. You
Warras,
understand?
be proud
I can
of
speak
who
about
you
it now openly to say, I knew when I say that thing, people are going to attack that thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There was a whole 1 hour
outrage.
discussion sort of before and after that. So I did contextualize why I'm saying that. You know, I'm not going to go into it. Obviously, I'm colored in appearance. You understand?
I hear
but
that.
I was trying to make the point of there is a race of colored people. There is a culture of colored people. I don't subscribe to colored culture as to use the proverbial term. You know what I mean? And for each colored person, whether you are Malay or you are a Durban colored, a Cape colored, whether you're a Muslim colored or a Christian colored, a Catholic colored, whether you are a Khoisan descendant colored, those Northern Cape speak, Namakwalanda ones. There's one to Namakwalanda based on TikTok. Hey, they're packing, dog.
Hey,
So those are,
there's always hell. Let me tell you, it's the most beautiful. It's the most
must know
beautiful.
those
I know that there was a video on TikTok that you're talking about with the girls like, I'm from Namakwaland.
My brother.
And I was like, yo,
there's
where's
this other hand.
What
My
country is
barber,
that?
dog.
Pull
My
it up.
barber's from Pakistan. You must know he's never been to Namakwaland.
Yeah, he's never seen.
He said to me, hey, bye. You know, that's what. He showed me, he said, yo, where's this pic? You understand?
bye.
That cat's coming, to put it in context, he's coming from Pakistan,
Yeah.
he comes to South
I
Africa.
Googled
he
it after
sees,
seeing
yo,
that.
this is
Yeah.
like a diverse culture.
it's beautiful.
There's blacks, there's whites, there's this, there's that. There's
happening.
these colors, hey, I like them, they're looking like Latinas, others are looking like, you understand? And then he sees this one and he's like, yeah, which
Yeah.
pic is this now?
Yeah.
Right? If that chick had to go to America,
Yeah.
what's she gonna say she is?
What?
Because if she gets there and she pulls a Tyler,
yeah.
it's a fuck
trouble.
shit, that one. Because now when Tyler pulled that move,
Yeah.
black Americans hate her for it.
I know.
But it's like, when Tyler is here at home, Tyler is colored. It's
Yeah.
also not fair to take somebody's identity,
Away.
the culture, the race group that they identify
I don't
with.
think
the way they were
Americans
raised.
even see, because even when you go into a bank, bro, it says white, black, colored, other.
Yeah,
It's on official documentation.
But
on
remember
the
where
forms.
that term comes from here in South
here.
Africa.
Yeah.
You know, if you really
Yeah.
want to go deep, when I said that shit that I'm not a colored, my brother, hundreds of TikToks were posted by various people I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Dissecting what I was saying. Obviously, some were like, fuck that guy, he just wants tenders, he thinks
Yeah.
he's black. I never said I was black. That's not what I said. I said, I'm a Mexican Zulu. It's my own label. Don't tell me how to identify myself.
The Mexican Zulu.
No, my nigga, that's my choice.
Like if I gave you that car in Fast and Furious, you would have been part of that gang. You
You
fit
check.
in there. You know what I mean? Those
I'm gonna slip in and be wherever. You know what I'm saying?
God. You're running
This
that
other
gang.
thing said, this other Jewish auntie told me a reminder of Rio from Good Girls.
Oh, hey.
I knew what she wanted.
Yeah,
at
you
that
can
point.
see, yeah. Get in the car.
You see now.
Yeah, just get in the car.
Get
you
in the
know what I'm
car.
saying?
Yeah.
So
yes,
it depends.
race culture.
Race culture, right?
Yeah.
And Americans are very like black and white, literally.
Yeah,
you know,
they
it's
are.
black, white, Hispanic. That's it. If you mix race, say you have a white mom and a black dad, or vice versa, you are black. Trevor Noah went there, he was black. They always colored when he was here.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I don't remember a Trevor Noah. Obviously, this wasn't the chat 15 years ago. That's the other thing. No one was putting us under pressure to say, how do we identify? You know, that's a new thing in the culture. If you think about America and the whole woke movement,
Yeah.
I was following that shit from like 2015, 16 when it wasn't in fashion.
That thing got hectic.
You know, I was following how identity politics, if you will.
George
and I was
Floyd.
like, yo, this shit is weird. Before George Floyd, even with the transgender movement and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a Dr. Jordan Peterson, you know that,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Before he became the global superstar that he is now, he was a lecturer at a university. And there was a video that went supersonic where there was a march at the campus and the transgender students and the black transgender students and the black Hispanic transgender students, everyone was segmenting themselves into these little groups, right? Identity, politics. And it was, Professor Peterson, you refuse to refer to me as she? And he looks at this one and he says, I don't mind referring to you as she, you look like a she, but I know you're O.
Yeah.
You understand? And she's like, well, you better use my pronouns. And he said, no, I
Excuse
won't
me.
do that.
Yeah.
There's no way language in the entire history of English common law, there's never been a time where language has been forced on people. We've been told what we can't say. We've never been told what we must say. So in other words, if you use any racial slurs, the N word, the K word, the whatever, the B word, those B word, it's the other one for colored people. That's derogatory.
Is that a racial slur?
It's the other one, the other K word for Indian people, that's also derogatory.
Yes.
Those are hate speech terms.
Yeah.
You can't use those. You can be charged with criminal injury in the event that you do. But it's never been imposed upon people to say, you must call me she. And when you are addressing me, if you don't address me as she, I can charge you with a crime, a hate crime. And Jordan Peterson stood against that time.
Yeah.
So I started seeing sort of like inklings of that movement, right?
Well,
They didn't kick him out, but they kind of like forced him out. But it launched his career and who he became because he stood his ground and he said, fuck that. And that shit lasted for about, honestly, in my opinion, 8 to 10 years. It's starting to wane now because most of the world knows that it's bullshit. You understand? It also creates problems where, you know, on Piers Morgan, for example, Piers Morgan got cancelled for that shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
he
He
did.
got kicked off Good Morning Britain
Yeah.
because his views on it were, okay, where are we going to draw the line? It's like, I identify as she, you identify as she, your pronouns are Z, zoo, yours are B, bo. This one is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Everyone is making up their own fucking pronouns. Like,
hectic.
you
It's
understand?
hectic. It's hectic.
Then people would come to a place, fill in forms, and if the form has only got he, she, or Mr., Mrs.,
They offended.
brother, trouble. They charge that place with a hate crime. Obviously, it wasn't happening here, but when America sneezes, the world catches the flu.
Yeah.
It started moving into Europe. Europe is still fucked.
Yeah, we
We're
already,
moving to
and
Australia.
KZN we confuse he
Bro,
and she
but
in general.
in Cape Town, there's a lot of cats that were pushing that
It's
move
getting
in
into
Cape Town.
schools too.
It's getting to
Getting to
schools.
schools.
Yeah.
My kids go to a school where something that made me quite uncomfortable is there was the topic of gender neutral bathrooms.
Yes.
Now, I've got boys, right? So I don't have as much of an issue with it because they are boys. But I tell you what, if I had a daughter, there's no way on God's green earth
Not a
that I'd
chance.
be
I mean,
comfortable with
when we
my
were
chance.
back in school and there were boys and
Not a
girls
chance.
toilets, the stuff was happening still.
Bro, we
the
used to
kissing
go
corner
and swimming.
and all of
Can
that.
you
You know?
imagine?
After swimming practice, you go and you look in the girls' change room to
Yeah.
see maybe a titty or something.
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
like fucking 12 years old. Jeez. That's cool. But now, we didn't have an opportunity where I can say I'm a girl, then I walk into the girls' change room,
Yeah.
and now it's just titties everywhere. Then I'm standing there with the fucking boner, and I'm like, I'm a girl.
It's
Don't
hectic.
look at my vagina.
Yeah.
It's going to make people's parents uncomfortable. I would be uncomfortable.
I would be very
Yes.
uncomfortable.
Now,
Very
it's not to say that we don't see those people who identify like that. And I'm
Yeah.
sure some of them do have a genuine
Yeah.
conditioned conviction that they are what they say they are. But
Yeah.
I don't have to be cool with it, bro.
No,
especially if my
you're not
daughter
forced,
yes.
is changing in that bathroom. I'm not cool
Yeah.
with it.
Yes.
I don't want it in my schools.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
But there's nothing wrong with making a toilet. What about a change room for people who feel this way?
There's nothing wrong with it, but like, bro, we out here spending 450 million on a national dialogue. We don't have parks
Oh,
to be
the
making
national
multiple
dialogue.
Just pee by the
Yeah.
girls and you pee by
But
the
you
boys.
see-
I'm not. You understand? Why are we complicating our lives?
I think at school level, it's too young for that. Because your
Yeah.
brain isn't developed fully enough to comprehend half the things, right? When you finish school, then you only start to that's when I think they'll allow those things so people can make adult decisions.
In your opinion,
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Please.
Yeah,
in
my
Chuck's opinion, in my opinion,
Yeah.
the three brews sitting on the load shed podcast.
Yeah.
But out there in the world,
Yeah.
you understand, decisions are made at a senior level, a legislative level. And that's what Jordan Peterson was saying. He was saying, you guys are legislating speech. No fucking ways. You understand? I'm not doing that. That was 2015, right?
Fast forward.
Yes. You mentioned George Floyd. Between then and now, what's happened, right? George Floyd died. You know the story. George Floyd died. They're always kneeling on his neck. He was saying, I can't breathe, etc., etc. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know enough about the subject to say I know for sure George Floyd died for other reasons. But what I have seen is, since then, A lot of commentators have come out and they've reviewed the autopsy report. They've spoken to people in crime intelligence. They've spoken to the doctor that conducted the autopsy. Derek Chauvin, the guy who's been sent to jail for it, is launching appeals with this new evidence to say, cool, we saw what happened in that video.
But that's not the reason.
No, that's not the reason, but also there was something else prior to the kneeling, right? I don't think that guy should have knelt on him for fucking 12 minutes or whatever. 7 minutes. That's a fuck up, right? Under any circumstances, you know, insecurity, they teach you how to get people under control, you know, subdue people, right? So that you can diffuse situations. There's no way that it says kneel on someone for 12 minutes. And I bet you that in the police training, it doesn't say that.
But American
kneel
police
on
are just
them,
angry.
get them under
They're
control,
just
handcuffs
angry.
on, and you lift them up.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if you are on your stomach and I'm standing on you, bro, you're going to find it difficult to breathe, especially if it's a 70, 80 kilo man.
Full stop.
Right? So that, we're not throwing that out completely. But because of where politics, identity politics was at the time, the wave of the court of public opinion, that man was fucked. He was going to jail. No one was looking at this other evidence which has since come out. But because it's since come out, it has completely decimated the credibility of the original claims to say these were just racist cops stopping a black man and kneeling on him. It's now come out that this brat tried to change a $20 counterfeit bill. That's why the cops were called. He was high as fuck. He was a drug addict. He was also not a very good guy. He'd been to jail for assaulting a pregnant woman. He'd been an armed robber. He beat the shit out of his baby mama. He wasn't a good oak by any stretch of the imagination. And in that period of his life where he met his end, he was a rampant drug addict. Now there's also evidence that suggests, you understand, or a school of thought that suggests that if you are that high, and you are stuck in the back of a police car and then knelt on, because you're not rushing, you understand? You're not in the car with the heater on full blast or whatever the fuck druggies do. The conditions that you're in and you're confined and your fucking heart rate is racing 200 beats per minute, that's not good.
Yeah.
Your heart can stop. But these are the dangers that come with excessive drug consumption. Do we blame the drug or do we blame the guy that kneeled on him? So you understand? So what happened was since then, that happened. That now put this whole new angle on this George Floyd thing, which diminishes the credibility of the whole movement.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter also raised like $200 million or something ludicrous in donations. And the head of Black Lives Matter, which is an NGO, NGOs are a fucking scam. This bitch had property worth $50 million. She'd hired her brother as the head of security. That brother was getting paid the highest security rate in the world, like he's a Navy SEAL. She'd hired her auntie as this. The other leaders of Black Lives Matter were pulling out fucking new whips. Then it's like, you guys said this movement is for black people, but now you moved from a flat in Wentworth, you're now living in the Pearls in Umhlanga, like what's up? You check. All these things, essentially what they did is a lot of movements which started out as
Good
supported,
intentions.
good intention.
Yeah.
It turns out, fucking scam, right? And we as a society in general, as I say, we are like 5-6 years behind the wave. We find ourselves sort of like, we're not in the middle of it, but we are definitely still in it. In that when, for example, a Tyler makes a comment like, I'm colored, I'm not black, she's making it in a society where that shit is at its peak. You understand? She is innocently making it because she's telling the truth, she's being honest.
What
When
she
a
is in
Warras
the
says,
moment,
I'm not colored anymore, I'm retired, the reaction that it gets is because it's a sign of the times. Bro, if I had said that shit in 2015, I assure you no one would have given a fuck. You understand? I've never come out talking about fucking I'm a colored, it's the way we tune. I've never rapped any fucking KZN songs and shit. I listen to the music, I know one, two of the pras, but I've never sort of come out and been like this guy that was claiming coloredship. But neither have I claimed anything else. I've just been quiet. The question has only been asked of me literally in a career spanning almost 20 years. It was asked of me in the last 2. So, you understand? So what's
The world's
happening?
become very sensitive.
When
all
did
in all.
this discussion become so important?
Yes, but at the same time, I always look at these incidents and even what's happening now, and you just wonder when it gets amplified so much, what is actually happening that we're not seeing. There's
Yeah,
something
what's
we're not
the
seeing.
agenda? Yeah.
Shadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something we're not
I'm
seeing.
taking off my jersey, Dane. Is it okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, close your eyes, brother. Sorry to the viewers if my shirt is creased. My flight was early. Yes, sorry. Please
But
carry
what
on.
I'm saying is, like, there's always that something that we're not seeing, or something's just happened, and then this is my conspiracy, guys.
Yeah.
I always see like something's happened. We're chasing a minister. We're chasing this. We're looking at this, and then this kind of thing
Yeah.
happens. It
It's
gets
distracting you from this one.
blows out of proportion.
Yeah.
Now we've forgotten. We've forgotten about the lady who had a meeting to allegedly bribe somebody. We've forgotten all about that.
Bro.
We've forgotten all about that.
was wild.
But
That
we're
was so
focusing
wild.
on just
Have you
this
seen
thing.
that clip, Ruth?
You know
Well,
what I
it's not
mean?
as wild as it was, clearly.
You know, exactly,
Yeah.
because now we're just looking
And
at
the
this
white
clip.
guy just kept
Yeah.
like, yo, okay. Yo,
Yeah.
okay. Yo, okay.
No, we're
Yo,
just
okay.
focused on this
Yeah.
this clip. But I think, come on, guys, there's bigger things at play.
Yeah.
Or
Yes.
are we just puppets, guys?
Yeah.
You know
have
what I mean?
Have you watched The Dark Knight Rises?
Please
I've
don't
watched
stop
The
this.
Dark
Please
Knight
don't stop
Rises.
this. Please don't stop
Of
this.
course.
Bro, I hate watching that movie with him.
course.
You know, you
Brain.
can put it. You
My
can put it on
man.
mute. This guy says word for
All
word.
the lines.
All the lines.
Okay,
All the
talk to
lines.
me.
All
Talk
the
to
lines.
me.
All the
Talk to
lines.
me.
All the
Give me
lines.
that.
Of course I have.
I knew this nigga was a Superman fan.
No, this guy made me a Batman
Superman
fan.
fan.
Wait.
He made me.
Christopher Nolan, bro.
In general.
Except who's that hunk?
Hey,
hunky, hunky.
that guy's not allowed on camera.
Yeah, please don't come on camera.
He's
This
not allowed on
Carl's
camera.
watching. We're trying to get something for ourselves.
Hello, good sir.
What kind, Sano?
We imported it.
So
Yeah.
that movie, right? There's a part where Bane and Bruce Wayne are fighting.
Yeah.
And it's where Bruce Wayne is still weak. So what does not Bruce Wayne, sorry, Batman. What does he do? He throws that bombs of his pa, 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 da, 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 and he switches off the lights and shit. And Bane says, theatricality and deception, powerful tools to the uninformed.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yes.
And then he says, what? But we are the students of Razagul. You know what I mean? Do you think darkness is your ally?
Yeah.
That whole little speech
was
is
born in the
essentially what's happening. There's all this other stuff that happens to distract you from this thing that's going on.
Theatrics.
Theatrics, right? And we mustn't be fooled by that. You know that Chris XL handle on?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my bra on Twitter. I
Oh,
want
so you
my-
actually know who he is?
No,
Or
I have
she
no
is?
idea who he is or she
Okay.
is.
It's a guy that's using
we have an
a
online
chick's profile.
friendship, if you will. Where
Okay.
when I tweet, he jumps on my tweets and vice versa.
Okay.
I chat to him on DM. You know what I'm saying? It's my bro.
Hey,
Whoever he may
one
be.
day we will find out.
Oh yeah, one day.
No,
Yeah.
he's known, isn't he?
No, he's not. he
known.
uses a profile pic of this
With that
other
chick,
hand,
yeah.
right?
Shame,
And the
bro.
hand, they like take the hand off
I
your
saw her
profile.
coming on a podcast talking about how it's affected her life
reputation,
and
yeah,
reputation.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but hey,
Anyway,
everybody
yeah.
has their story.
Yeah.
I hope Chris XL, please change your profile pic because you're putting this hand under pressure.
For the last time.
Please.
There was a speech I did, right, at Momentum. It was success in your context, right? And I had to put together this thing. It was like 14 slides, and obviously every slide I had to talk through what the points are there. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't find a line to fit this one slide, you know, and I was trying to make the example for the corporates, for the people that were there of the situation they might find themselves in, right? And maybe a week or so before that, there was a tweet from Eastern Cape, somewhere there, fucking South Coast vibes, I don't know, wherever. And it's a video of these two white bullies, right? There's a black guy, municipal worker with a bulldozer outside their posy. It's like one of those long driveways, like, you know.
Yeah.
At the top of this cul-de-sac thing is like a Airbnb or bread and breakfast vibe. Coming down that hill, there's a nice big house there that belongs to, let's say that his name is Dave, right? And this guy that's making the video is the bulldozer guy who's grading that road that leads to these posies.
Okay.
It's mud and sand.
I've seen that video.
Hey, you check that video.
With two
Now,
bunnies.
Dave walks out, and this guy was
Barefoot too.
Yes, was preemptively recording, which tells me that he knew the bully's gonna come out as soon as he heard the kanda.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's recording the Pali walking to the gate, and the Pali's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?" Right? And he's losing his shit, bro. But he's like a 75-year-old white Pali in his shorts, no
Yeah.
shoes. And these guys have obviously been there on other occasions.
Yeah.
So when he hears the kanda, he knows what's the situation. So he comes out now.
With
to
a clock.
put
Doesn't he
thing
have a
out.
clock?
No, he had like a ndugu.
Oh,
at
yeah,
first, right? And they get into it. He's telling this guy, get this fucking thing out of here. You're not going to dig this road again.
Yeah.
What? I will fuck you up. Right? While they're swearing, his bra
comes.
George pulls up.
Barefoot too.
Right?
Yeah.
From down the road. And he's like, no. Not today, brother, not today. And this guy is doing the commentary in the video, and he's like, what's wrong now, Mr. George?
Yeah.
Mr. George, but they sent us to work, Mr. George.
We're just doing our job.
Yeah. He's antagonizing the Balis, and he's getting the reaction. He is Open Chat's podcast of South Coast. The guy is poking the bear.
Yeah.
And he's getting the reaction he wants, and he's getting the funniest fucking video. He's even giggling at some point.
Yeah.
No racial slurs were thrown. This is just two angry white Balis shouting at this black guy who drives a bulldozer. Now, obviously, because it's after the story, people commented there and they said, actually what happens is the municipality sends someone, they dig up that road. That person that digs up leaves. 2 weeks later, no one has come to do the work that the digging up was for. Maybe it's for replacing a pipe or whatever. If it rains in that 2 weeks, that whole fucking road washes away. The dig up is rendered useless.
Yeah.
That nigga comes back, he digs up again. 2 weeks and so on and so forth. So can you imagine how tired the residents of that place are of not having access to their fucking driveways because these guys keep digging up the road? Somebody's obviously got a tender. Because every time the road is dug up, someone's cashing a check for 100K. So why would you come out and fix it if you can cash 100K checks every
All
2
the
weeks?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's commentary, allegedly, that some people put on the tweet. But when I commented on that thing, I said, this is funny because this guy's egging them on.
Yeah.
Clearly they know each other because he was preemptively recording. And if you've ever had to deal with an angry 75-year-old Bali, you'll find the humor in this video because you know Balis when they lose their shit. He was like, I'm fuck you up. But he was throwing like the worst punches of life, dog. He's throwing like 75-year-old punches.
Yeah.
Slow as shit, right? Just funny. Chris XL jumps on the tweet and says, ow. But didn't you hear they called him the K word?
No, wait a second.
Then I'm like, huh? Plus, when I commented on the thing, it was late at night, bro. You know what I'm saying? I commented and then I went out. By the time I saw Chris XL's comment, I was drunk. So now I'm like, yo, fuck. I'm para now. Check yo, say, am I making a joke of a K word video?
Yeah.
I had to go outside the club, put my phone by my ear, and I listened to this whole flipping 4.5 minute thing. Because now I was panicking. You understand? I was like, hey, because I was going to take it down. Obviously, I wouldn't want to spread content like that.
Yeah.
I listened to this thing like 4 times. In the time I was listening to it, do you know how many people commented on Chris's tweet? And were like, yeah, Warras, what's your story? Yeah, what the fuck? This time, yeah, they're racist. Yeah, These tweets are coming in. I'm like, yo, okay, this might be a fuck up, right? Go out, I listen. There's fuck all.
Yeah.
Never say that shit.
Yeah.
I screenshot it, I send it to him on DM. I say, Manjam Ganwam, what's your fucking story? Why would you say that? And he says, chief, the agenda must agenda.
Wow, you see now.
I see.
Theatrics.
Then I just caught up. I'm like, this boost.
Yeah.
Because he is rage baiting people.
Yeah.
The ones that were commenting either didn't listen to the video in its entirety or they would have noticed there's no K word.
Yeah.
Either a part of the agenda agending, right?
They're also trolling
Or
it.
alternatively, they are doing it to jump on the agenda.
Yeah.
Sure.
How many replies, comments, and tweets do you think that thing got?
Yeah.
You understand?
Rage bait.
Rage bait. How much clicks is Chris XL getting from farming,
Yo.
what do you call it, impressions
Yeah.
on that tweet? By simply saying that thing of, hey, Warras, this guy said the K word, didn't you hear that shit? Thousands of tweets.
Yeah.
He could have not replied at all and missed out on those thousands. He could have said, yeah, you're right, friend, that's funny.
Yeah.
It would have not gotten the reaction.
It's
you
a
understand?
business now, man.
The agenda must agenda. I
Yeah.
made that shit the topic of my fucking speech. At
Oh
the
man, shout out
because
Chris
I think
XL
it's
for
such a
that.
powerful statement. Shout out Chris XL, but I've stolen it now. Your boost. You're not on podcast. So that thing, I've actually now given it thought since then. And a lot of the time, the agenda is agending. When Caton McKenzie responded to the open chats, guys, he was coming in with a political style.
Yeah.
He went immediately on his personal page and he said, I've called all my lawyers and whatever, let's vie for them, let's sue them.
He was
this way,
naming
that way."
names, bro. I was listening to my car. Johan, 7 o'clock tonight.
Yes.
Vikas, 8 o'clock. I'm like, what's
Right?
going on?
That video went viral. You see, what happened? Somebody went 12 years back on the man's Twitter
Yeah.
to go and find. That's not something you happen upon, bro.
Yeah.
That's something that you are told about. And yes, it's not a defense of what he said. It's not a defense of his use of racial slurs, none of that shit. Let the Human Rights Council handle that. Me, I don't want to go there. That one is a tough chat to get in. That one is Israel, Gaza, fam. Me, I stay away from that. But the agenda must agenda. Whoever did it was not doing it because they had some human rights fire burning inside them and they wanted Caton to be corrected. They were doing it because they were trying to counter whatever his rant had done to this open chat. Am I making sense? Almost to show him up as a hypocrite or a racist or whatever. But the agenda needed to agenda. So somebody went and investigated that shit from 12 years ago. And what it did is exactly what you're saying. We were having an open chats podcast chat. We were talking about whether or not podcasts should be regulated.
Yes.
Serious discussions were going on from the news boss. Mainstream news was talking about, do we need a regulating body to oversee podcasts? Because of the shit that Mac Cheese in, he's getting sued. Because of what Open Chat said. There's other podcasts that have gone on and told people, accused people of having snakes in their houses and fucking people to feed the snake. Can't say that shit. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Especially if you're mentioning names now.
Can't do that.
yeah.
You'd never be able to do that on radio or TV because there's the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. There is no regulator for YouTube. There is no regulator for podcasts. Make sense?
Yeah.
So that whole chat about regulating podcasts, open chats, colored people, the fucking incestuous, blah, 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 except that chat was paused because this one overshadowed it.
You see now.
You see now.
And then,
so we haven't even finished having that
Yeah,
one. And now we have to move on to this
Shadowing.
one. And what has Caton been doing ever since? He's been defending his position. The PA has now got to fucking backpedal. You understand? Where does that leave? Because I watched his interview on Penwell.
Oh, yeah,
and he
he had
said,
one with
like,
Pen.
you know, as a representative of the PA and as a representative of my constituency, which is a large majority of colored people, I can't just keep quiet and let niggas talk shit about the entire colored race and do nothing. I had to do something. And I did something, and he goes into his explanation of the history of colored people, where they come from, their role in the struggle, where we're at now as coloreds and blacks, and what's the relationship. You understand? He goes into that whole thing. But he's not really talking about open chats and the correction of open chats. He's now defending why he said those things all those years ago.
Sure. So so someone was like, you know, but now I wouldn't be surprised if they hop onto that even more. Your political people getting into that. Obviously, it's getting them brownie points now to hop on this trend to
That's the
to
political.
bash, to
And that's
bash,
what I
to
was saying,
bash.
is that now we're in this age where the politics of something far outweighs every other facet of it. Is that how can I use this thing politically? And most of our thought leaders, the people who set the agenda, are politicians. And then everybody else jumps on. You understand? It's like every agenda starts with the political one first. You know, there's no like economic agenda. There's no, you understand what I'm saying? Social agenda. Everything is connected back to a political agenda of some sorts.
Sure.
You know, and with that as the lead, think about politicians in general. If they are the custodians of the agenda, it's a fuck up. Because most of them are dumb. These are people who would never have the wealth that they have in the normal course of employment. These are not people who build fantastic businesses, by and large. Some of them do. It's not to say they're all fucked up or they're all dumb. But, bro, most of them were appointed to positions because of favors. Now they are billionaires and we're supposed to be like, yo, this nigga's self-made. Self-made how? You understand? If I knew the whites who own the pearls and they give me shares in the pearls, am I a self-made hotel mogul? Of course not. You understand?
Someone's
I went to
always-
Oceans. Vivian Reddy gave me a job. Vivian Reddy is essentially my Indian monopoly capital. He sponsored me. I can't run around and say I built this massive hotel chain. Of course not. You understand? So a lot of that gets taken out of the conversation when the agenda is being set. And these are the people that are leading us as a society.
Yeah.
I'm not confident. And I saw,
I hear that.
you know, have you guys been seeing this fucking national, what's it called?
The national dialogue.
God, what a circus.
I didn't actually get to watch any clips, but what happened?
What is that about? Because I'm out the loop with the national
Bro.
dialogue.
The national, yeah.
They're talking about you guys. They're talking about like colored people with straight hair and fair skin. They're saying they're gonna ship y'all back to fucking
Where do we go, bro?
Mongolia.
Where do we go, bro? Where do we go? Where do we go?
I'm in the cruise here, keep my head bald squad, dog. You're not in my team.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yo. And that used to be a big fight at school back in the day, huh?
You check. I'm trying to get the Zulus to put me in their team permanently,
The
and then me, I just
straight
relax.
hair O's were soft, bro.
No, I think
And
they're
the
talking
harder
about
your hair, the harder you are, bro.
all the current issues in South Africa,
Yes.
gender-based violence,
Yeah.
and all
Bro.
that. But like there's a massive consortium involved
Yeah.
in this conversation.
Yes, from politics to
Business.
to
But do you think if the open chat situation that happened, right, and it was a bunch of colored guys on the pod, and they said that about black people, right?
yeah.
Do you think the consequences would have been far greater on those colored brews?
No, Jesus, they would have been spit pride.
Black
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah, they would
Yeah.
have been spit. But that's, on one hand, it's because there's almost like a
Double standard.
double standard, but like I feel like the chat is descending into. There's another speaker, man. There's some podcast I was watching. It's like the offense Olympics.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Who can be more offended? You understand?
Yeah.
Or the offense hierarchy. You understand? Black people are at the top of the offense hierarchy. At least this is what the speaker was saying.
Yeah.
In that if you say or do anything to black people, it's viewed as worse than if you're doing it to colored people or white people, right? It's a school of thought. It's not my opinion. I'm just saying, like, if we take that as our basis for the argument, right? Then what's happening is a lot of the colored people who were commenting on the Open Chats podcast were saying, actually, nobody fucking sees us. Ox can just talk shit about us, bro. And we were also marginalized, and we are also previously disadvantaged, and we also live in poverty, and we also live in ghettos, and our people are also killed, you see. But from a numbers perspective, black people far outweigh every other demographic of people. So naturally, the outburst in response to if coloreds had said that on a podcast about black people,
It's
for argument's
massive.
sake, hypothetically speaking, would have been 10 times bigger, right? And that would have, you know, like our George Floyd example, it's sometimes the court of public opinion, the noisier it is, the bigger the impact that the
Yeah.
backlash has.
Yeah.
So I imagine it would have been considerably worse, not necessarily because black people are more entitled to offense than colored people. You understand? Because I think if you ask a colored person, they're always going to be more offended by what's said about them. Black people are always going to be more offended by what's said about them.
Yeah.
And, you know, each race you can put
It's
in
a
in
numbers
that
game.
category. It's a numbers game.
Yeah,
So it
Josh.
would have probably been a bigger wave.
Yeah.
But in terms of the double standard, people did comment on that to say, how come when they talk shit about us, nothing is done? A lot of people were commenting
That's
like
why
that.
I asked that,
And they were
yeah.
drawing a line in the sand and saying, fuck that, no more. I got like similar, like I said, when I said that shit about not being colored, I got like similar backlash where people were like, you know, some kind of like delved into why I could possibly be saying it, because I did explain it. Others went into a whole explanation of the different like within the colored race, there's these other subdivisions. And that's what I was saying earlier, is that people are dividing themselves up into groups
Yeah.
based on race, groups based on sexuality, groups based on... Bro, I grew up in Vryheid. It was a super racist town. Up until 1995, blacks weren't allowed in the school.
Yeah.
And in 1995, when they were admitted into the school, like the first non-white students, the principal resigned in protest. He was like, I'm not teaching monkeys.
Justice.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is the type of town that Vryheid was.
So you were in the school at the time?
No, by the time I came into the school, it was a lot more
Calm.
mixed, right?
Yeah.
But the K word was thrown around colloquially.
Yo.
You understand? My best friend, I've told the story before, that my best bra that I went to gym with, we swam together, we rode bike together, we did everything together. You know what I mean? After extramurals, we were together. He was a super racist. Because he was raised to be a racist. You know, him, his father, his grandfather, his great-grandfather, and his great-great-grandfather all had the same fucking name. You know, when you went to his house, they had that 4-tracker wheel and 2 rifles and a tricleer, that old flag on the wall. Shit was like a shrine. The racist people, bro. Like of your beard type speak. But he was a young boy. His mind was still malleable. We met at the gym. That uncle at the gym didn't tolerate racism. You check. And nobody fucked with him. Right? Vic. So his thing was, hey, fuck you. You are the same weight as this guy. You train with this guy. Don't tell me he's black, he's whatever. You want to say he's black? Fuck off, go to another gym. So he was stern like that. You understand? There was no race in the gym, which was good because it created an environment where this broer now had an opportunity to get to know me. And he liked me. And I liked him. So as that relationship grew, it sort of like started changing his thinking to say, all of these motherfuckers are not that bad. This one's quite cool. And that friendship grew. For about 2 years, that bra never told his father who I am. Because if he had told his father that, yo, I'm friends with the colored boy, geez, like, he would have probably been in big shit.
Yeah.
But when he eventually did, I thought it was very brave. Not at the time, but now with the gift of hindsight, I realized this man was raised like that. So was his father. These are people that were raised to think a certain way. They were conditioned to think a certain way, and that they are white and we are black. You understand? And the day when he was kind of like, the situation just dictated that I had to go to his house.
Came out the closet for
He
you.
was like, okay, wacht vir my hier asseblief. Then he went inside. You understand? And then he was like, kom in. Went
Shame,
in.
man.
We used to speak Afrikaans. Went inside, and then he was like, Pa, dis my friend, Warwick. And then the dad was like, oh, Warwick, ek so veel van jou gehoor. What? Like, I've heard a lot about you. Gaan it? And he just looked at, like, he dead stared me, he shook my hand. He said, how's it? You are my son's friend. Nice to meet you. That was the end of the discussion. But everybody knew that guy's dead. You understand?
But when
That was racist as fuck. So I was also panicking.
when
No,
you-
we knew who he was. It's a small town.
But imagine when you left.
Nah, that's the thing.
Did you eat from
it
the
was
normal?
okay.
Did you eat from the normal plates and cups that the house
did.
does?
Hey, Josh,
Because you know some of the boys,
Honestly.
you're getting a ceramic yellow or a green one.
Let me tell you this story, Dot. I think my cousin Paul is probably watching, right?
Yeah.
His dad. His dad was Uncle Fura, right? And Paul, his mom is a colored lady,
Right.
right? She could be mistaken for black. You know, coloreds, they come in all different hues, shapes,
Different
and sizes,
specs,
right? That's his mom. But his dad was a white man, boss. That one, if he walked in here, he's a white. He's a boer.
Sure.
Fluent in Afrikaans, from Johannesburg, like downtown Joburg, Troyville, those sections, right? He grew up in that era. Thug life, right? Anyway, long story short, they had Paul, their son. They had another daughter, Leanne, my cousin. Leanne looks like a white person, like the dad.
Right.
Paul, not so much. He looks like his mom, right? And his dad was a carpenter by trade. And in Vryheid, again, it's a small town, you're going to get your odd jobs as a carpenter. You're going to be called to Tani Magriet's house to come and put in built-in cupboards or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And during school holidays, we were lighties, so we would vie with Uncle Fura. We'd pass the tools, we'd put on our overalls, made us feel cool. And we went to this Tani Spanban's house there. It's Tani Grita, right? And he knew her because he'd met her like in the town. She had no idea who his family was, so she just thought he's another Afrikaans man. Yeah, you know, he's a blankers, he's a blanker or whatever. Gave him the job to fit the built-in cupboards. At school holidays, we roll up there. It's me, Paul, and 2 black guys who are like the actual assistants of carpentry and the timer. Right? When we pull up there, needless to say, me and Paul were sitting in front in the bakkie. The black oaks are at the back. Right? Like, oh, that's strange. You know? If I remember correctly, we were placed in front. We always sat at the back of the bakkie. You're lighty, bro. Sit at the back of the bakkie. Anyway, we sat in front. We get to the house. When we get to the house, sharp, we're busy with the built-in cupboards, we're passing tools. He's talking to the Tannie and so she's just like, ach man, jy weet mos, Derek, dis hoe dit gaan, what? They're having like fat Afrikaans chats, you know? 1 o'clock is lunchtime. She's like, yo, You must come inside for lunch, you know. We're going to have lunch there in the kitchen. My husband is coming home, whatever his name was. Like, okay, he's obviously we lighties, we don't talk. Hey, bro, when lunchtime comes now, she's like, oh no, lunch is ready. Diavalt is his or whatever, the husband. We come to the kitchen, we like there by the kitchen door. How? There's 3 places set. Right?
Do the maths.
It's the mom, it's the auntie, the Bali, and obviously Uncle Fura.
Yeah.
No. It's like, in that moment, you're like, okay, maybe
adults.
it's for the adults.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Uncle Fura.
Group areas act. Group
She
areas
says,
act.
"Ja, dis reg, Derek, kom in. These for ons," right? Whatever, the prepared food. And then she says to us, she's like, "His sauce for yellow." It's like here in the corner by the kitchen. Bro, it was like 10 slices of brown bread and butter, bro. With a fucking
Bologna.
with like a, you know that enamel cup?
Yeah, I know,
the
I know.
jug version.
There's a
She had
jug
like
version.
10 tea bags in it, dog. She's like, there you go, niggas. There's tea and brown bread. Go sit under the tree.
You guys must have looked at each other like, yeah.
That's my
And it
father.
was the look between Paul and his dad.
Yeah.
Because now the dad is like, she was like, oh, this is for us, and this is for your boys. And then Paul looks at his dad like, what's up with the boy, kiddo? Like, here you go, guys, go job.
So you guys had to sit outside for this thing.
Can you imagine the ride home?
We had to sit outside, but we were the blacks. We had to sit under the tree with that brown bread. I couldn't even eat. I laughed. I think I pissed myself. It's not like I minded, you know, like the 2 guys that we were with, like Tutuzi and Mandla, they were like,
Chilled.
they were our oaks, bro. You
Our
know?
guys join us now. Like, oh,
We had to sit outside under the tree.
Oh my
But it was
God.
like a proper like come to Jesus moment for Paul and I to say, because Uncle Fura looks white,
Yeah.
they take him as a white.
They just assume it,
Therefore, he can access the house and sit at the table.
Yeah.
How dare you, nigga? Who do you think you are?
But what are you
It's
saying?
obvious that I wasn't a black boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She might have assumed that I'm like his nephew or something. Sorry. She might have assumed that he's just given me a job. I'm just a colored boy from Lakeside that he's giving a young odd job. You understand?
Yeah.
In no universe did she imagine that Paul is his son and I am his nephew. She was like, nah, you niggas are blacks. Go sit there outside. Now that's an example of 2 colored boys, 2 black guys. That lady saw us exactly the same. She didn't differentiate and say, these ones are colored, let me put jam on their bread.
At least.
And these ones are black, fuck them, their bread must be dry. Nothing.
No, at least.
We ate the same bread, we sat under the same tree with the 2 black guys and we drank from that same fucking ukamba of tea. Like, that's how we ate.
It's the same thing that happens in the community, because I remember my mom telling me that some of her siblings, there was gang siblings, passed the pencil test and they could go to a white school.
Well, if they had hair like you, they were in.
So that's what I'm saying.
Stunning.
So, some of them had the hair.
Yeah.
They passed the pencil test. They could go to a white school.
Well, lucky you. I was relegated. Me, I was with Chucks and them.
Yeah, bro.
It was lucky there though. It was nice. But I'm just saying,
great. This is the thing.
if you didn't look the parts back then, lots of colored people, and some of them now, because they were institutionalized as being white, they've carried on with that lineage of they're white. But you know their granny is full and well Auntie Meryl from Sydney.
Bro, do you know how many bitches I've come across where they're like, no, I'm white. And I'm like, that's fine. For the purpose of this discussion, I don't care. But someone lied to you. I'm not going to fucking... I'm not going to post coloring mid-session and be like, you're white? Get away.
Yeah.
I'm operating, dog. If that's what your parents told you, except me, I don't care.
Yeah.
You understand? But I think that chat, right? I know Gaten touched on it.
Yeah.
And I also touched on it before, where there's this classification of all of us as African. What is African? Right? Black African, colored African. A lot of Afrikaners claim to be African. The reason they claim to be African is like I'm making the example of teens, bro. Him, his dad, his granddad, great-grand, like 5 generations are from here. These are like 4 trekker niggas.
Yeah.
They are not from Netherlands. Ironically, he lives in the Netherlands now, but you understand what I'm saying? They are African because they were raised as African, they were born in Africa, and that's how they see themselves. And I think there's merit to that discussion. But if you look at the online chatter, it's like, fuck you, you European, get the fuck out. That's what white people are told. Donald Trump is even giving them refugee status. And the sentiment by most people is not, yo, don't leave. You motherfuckers are the backbone of the farming industry.
Yeah.
People are like, yeah, fusak hamba, we don't need you. And I'm like, we'll pause the chat. If those niggas leave, we fucked you.
Seriously.
Place will collapse.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking go farm. I have a farm. There's fuck all there. It's just grass. I'm not gonna go stay there, bro, and fucking grow vegetables. Fuck that. I'm in Joburg. I gotta get these bitches.
Yeah.
I mean, the Avenge for apartheid game. You know what I mean? You gotta smash as many whites as possible.
Can we just pause there quickly?
Because of the sound.
Can you hear that?
Let's go.
We're back. Warras.
We're back. What were we saying? Oh, the revenge for apartheid business.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
I
was
was just joking.
That was a funny story.
You know the first
White
time,
people won't be offended.
No,
You see,
no,
no one's
no,
gonna
no,
cancel me and say, this guy is talking about white bitches.
the first time I ever came across Warras for me personally was Twitter, right?
Oh,
and,
did you see me there?
No, I was like, yo, this guy's quite funny. I started following you because you commented on a video. This was quite recent. Bro. There was a fight at Stellenbosch University where this young Afrikaans boy,
Oh, flatten the bouncers.
brother, he flattened 5
saw that.
bouncers.
I saw
And
that. He looks like
Warras
a nerd.
Yeah. Warras commented, he was like, I want to sign this guy but right now for my
One
company.
time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you got to profile whites. There's a certain speck of white.
Yeah.
Don't fight with
Don't
him.
fight.
That one that you can see has muscles, but he's not dressing like he has
Yeah,
muscles.
yeah.
He just looks like, that's on a beach holiday in Miami. It's going to
That's
move
the
you.
problem.
He's not afraid.
Bro, that's
Yes.
when I learned white guys are different. I was at school and there was a guy in my class, his name was Ryan. Yes, this Afrikaans guy, brother. He was just, you know,
His name was
Afrikaans.
Rian.
Yeah, probably that was his home name.
they called him Ryan.
At school, Ryan.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, so I had a bit of a complication with this guy. Remember back in the day, you could grease it. Remember the thing where you
Where
do
you
this
rub
job?
your hand on
You say,
his face.
I hit him with that thing. in the
Brush.
class. Everybody's like,
We called it a
oh,
brush, yeah.
Yeah,
We
brush.
called
I
it a
said,
brush.
brush.
Yeah.
This oak woke up, bro, and he punched me. Here. He punched me here on my cheek.
And you
Bro,
knew
I
not
saw
to do that
stars.
shit.
No, I saw stars. I was gone. I thought I died.
You were
I
shook.
was in grade
Oh, man,
6,
don't
bro.
tell that story on the podcast. What can?
No, bro, people can know. I've been. Everyone who's
Josh.
been assaulted has been hit.
Tell you something,
You've
son.
been
Your
hit.
wife's watching. Please edit that out.
No,
Check
no,
here,
no.
I'm just drinking an espresso so the people can see that I'm
Lovely.
actually quite civilized.
Don't forget
Yeah.
the pinky.
Yes, you the pinky.
Yeah,
What's
you have
that
to do
about?
the pinky. Warras, what are you up to these days?
Ciao bello.
What are you up to?
These days, hey bro, I do lots of stuff, eh? I do whatever I want, whenever I can. So, I obviously like entertainment. I've been in since 2008, so I've done radio, I've done TV.
Yeah.
Even now, if I get a call to do a radio show, if they put the check,
you go back?
If the check is up, I'll pull in. TV, I've got a show coming out not too long from now. Mainstream platform.
You allowed to talk about it? Not
I
yet.
know I'm not allowed to talk about it. I don't think, but it's going to be big.
That's exciting.
It's like it's in a genre of television that I think is a vibe at the moment, and it's been a new presenting experience because traditionally I presented a music show and I presented Man Cave.
Yeah.
And those shows did like exceptionally well. It's like I was saying to you guys off air, I was very fortunate because in the wave of mainstream that I was in, it was in a time where mainstream mattered.
Yeah.
Right? If you were on SABC One, Live Amp, my brother, there was no bigger platform than SABC One. We had like, I think at our highest, we had 9 million viewers.
Sure.
Every Friday, live. Anywhere you go. If I walk around, like, coming to Durban is always such an experience because
Yeah.
the majority of the fan base is here. And I haven't been on TV for 5 years, 6 years. When I get from the airport to the
see you.
Uber, to the hotel that I'm staying in,
Yeah,
if
like
I
you
walk
just got
around,
flopped
people are
right
like,
now.
yo, Warras, usase Kakasini. They ask me about Kakasi. They ask me about SABC One. They ask me where's Pearl Tusi because they think we live together. Where's Lerato? You know what I mean? So the fan love is crazy
Yeah.
because mainstream mattered at that stage, right? The same with Man Cave. A lot of like middle-aged white people will come to me like, yeah, that guy from Mnet. And I'm like, yes, I am. Where's your daughter?
Yeah.
The revenge for apartheid game, right? So TV, I would say, I thought it was behind me, but it never really is. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I moved into like other entrepreneurial ventures. I
Other
did
spaces.
events, events used to bang. We used to do these big raves called Play Nation. We used to do Cooler Box. It was a colored event where you were allowed to bring a cooler box. Terrible idea. Not because of any particular agenda, but it usually ended in violence.
Bring your cooler
But
box, yeah,
Cooler
always.
Box was a fucking vibe, you know? That was big. And then now I've also got a security company. So we do like VIP bodyguarding and escorts. We also do like, recently we've started like in the buildings in the Johannesburg CBD.
Yo,
Because
that's a place.
That's a place, yeah.
Yeah.
There's lots of work to do there.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important work. You know, like I try to do stuff that I'm genuinely passionate about. I always ask myself, would I do this thing for free? You check. Before I say to myself, I don't want to do something because there's money. There must be money when I do it. I mean, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do it for free necessarily. But I don't go in saying to myself, let me just do this thing because I'm going to get paid a lot of money.
That's not the same as, obviously it's not, but Joburg CBD, I've been hearing a lot about Operation Tutula.
Yes, it's not the same, but if Operation Tudula is going to go to a place, my friend, they'll have no shortage of work if they come to the CBD. The Johannesburg CBD is a fucking mess.
Because at the moment, is that also to do with the hospitals, Tutula?
Yes.
Because they're not allowing foreigners access to healthcare.
So they've got a general attitude of South Africa for South Africans, right? They're like the Donald Trump of South Africa.
Yeah.
They're trying to come with a style to say a lot of our resources are being consumed by illegal foreigners.
Yes.
Right? Or foreigners in general, but let's go with illegal for the purposes of this discussion. And they're right. You know, I won't say like I support Operation Tudula to the hilt because I don't know enough about their movement, and also they've pulled on to other moves that I would say I'm not comfortable with. But I do understand where they're coming from. Many years ago when the xenophobia thing first happened in South Africa, I was on YFM and it started in Alexandra Township. What happened was one day, the locals of Alex just lost their shit and they said, fuck this. And if you were a Zimbabwean or a Malawian or a Nigerian, whatever, if you were a foreigner, even if you'd been living with these people for 5 years, bro, all hell broke loose. People were getting chopped with machetes. Others, they burnt a guy.
Yes.
Remember that
I
video?
remember that. I
Yeah,
remember
bro.
that,
They like, poured petrol on him and they burnt him, and it was like crazy. But it was like manic, like the purge. They were going up to people and saying,
Ndololwane.
yeah,
Yes,
in
I remember
Zulu,
that.
what is
What's
this?
your elbow, yeah.
Which is like, it's peak Zulu mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you said elbow, you're getting burnt.
Yes.
You had to say the correct term.
Hey, so
Like,
you were gonna
yeah, it was bad. And at the time, because I didn't know enough about the subject, right? We were taking calls on why. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with people? That's so cruel. And this one guy called in Taban or something. I think it was Taban or Tawis was his name. I'll never forget, because he said, you know, I'm listening to you guys and I've been listening to radio the whole day and I've been watching the news. And everybody has a fucking opinion coming from where you sitting in your chair there at YFM and this cat sitting in his chair at ENCA. I fucking live here, my friend. You check. And you don't understand what we've been dealing with. Our cries to say, yo, this clinic that used to service my community of, let's say, 500 people is now servicing 1,500 people. So when I'm trying to go get medication for my child that's sick from the clinic, I've got to now stand in a queue that takes 2 days. Is that fair? It's not fair. You don't live here, so you don't understand where we're coming from. And I think when you put that Tudula movement into perspective and you consider, you and I might not go to a government. We're not going to go queue at Addington to get medical care. We're going to just go to this private hospital in Umhlanga and we're going to say medical aid card. But if you've got to go queue in Addington, your child is running a fever of 42, and now you've got to stand in a queue behind people who are actually not supposed to be here. Because say what you want, you can call it xenophobic, you can call it heartless. They're not supposed to be here. They've entered the country illegally. They are also running away from whatever they're running away, and they're running towards economic opportunity. So it's also unfair to say, fuck them, let them die. Can't do that. But at the same time, for the person who is now disadvantaged by this influx of people who are drawing on resources that were already not enough to begin with, you have to understand and kind of see it from their perspective.
The frustration.
And I think that's why Tudula has gained so much traction so quickly. Is because when they did that shit where they're at the hospital and they're like checking people, if you don't have an ID, you can't come in, and turning people away. I go to the government hospital in Joburg to fetch medication for my son. He takes a specific medication that our government happens to stock. It's also fucking expensive. It's like 3K a box if you manage to get it, you know, through private, which you can't. So I have to go there and queue because it's where it's been prescribed. And I go on a Wednesday once a month. I was there maybe a month ago. When I saw the videos of some of the hospitals and like this is the situation after we installed this rule to say no one comes in without an ID. Bro, you're talking about 90% less people are in that queue for these medications. Now, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
I don't mind because when I go there, I'm not sick. My son is also not sick. I'm just going to queue to collect medication. So if I have to wait 3 hours, like I'm neither here nor there. But there's people in that queue that are moving with fucking XDR, TB. Others are there to collect ARVs. Others, you know, the situation is a lot more serious for them and their loved ones than it is for me. So, you know, a lot of people talk about Dudula from a position of privilege to say, because it's not your problem. But for the people whose problem it is in Umlazi, in Point here in Durban, remember when the police did that raid and kicked out the Nigerians? They say, who's those? How did they get in? Why are they here? Do they have documentation to be in the country? What form of employment do they have? When we hear about people being given RDP houses without paperwork to even be in the country or on asylum papers, it's weird.
Yeah.
When we do work in the CBD, we do a lot of like we'll do a building raid and a building audit. We come into a building that's been hijacked under instruction from the owner. We knock on everybody's door to understand who's in this flat.
But how hostile is that?
Yeah, and
Sometimes it's
and
super
how does one hijack a building?
Well, you hijack a building by moving in, then refusing to pay rent under the guise that services are not being delivered.
Sure.
So if I say, no, fuck that, there's no hot water, I'm not paying rent. You haven't come in to repair my shower that's leaking, I'm not paying rent. If one person does it, you can deal with it, you can manage it. But if the building's got 240 units and 80 of those units are saying the same thing, now you've got a problem. Because you can't just come in and remove 160 people like that. You also can't just come in and throw people out. It's also against the law. You've also got this other dynamic with a lot of the buildings in Joburg CBD of NGOs, which are a fucking scam. They come in and they, remember a lot of these NGOs, hypothetically speaking, allegedly, I'm just talking, it's just us. Say you have an NGO, like when Trump said with USAID. Say I have an NGO. I get funding from my NGO, from USAID. USAID is giving me that funding based on how many people I say I'm helping. So if I say to USAID, I have this building and there are 1,000 Zimbabwean families or Malawian families, asylum seekers, refugees in this building. They've got no food, no clothes. Say, for these 1,000 families, I need a 5 grand per family. And this is how it's fine. What if USAID is giving me 5 mil? Who says I'm spending that whole 5 mil on those 1,000 Zimbabwean families? No one's checking that shit. You understand? Where are the funds going? So because they've got an incentive to fight for these people's right to occupy a building that's derelict, they kind of pull up on the scene with lawyers and fucking, they're like, you can't remove these people. A lot of the time, the people are not being removed because you want them out, you want money. They're being removed because those buildings have been there for 70 years. If you stop maintaining a building and you stop maintaining the infrastructure and there's damp in the walls to the point where the walls are collapsing. There was an incident in Joburg CBD where the building caught on fire and 74 people died. There was no electricity, no running water, no fucking windows in that building. Nobody should have been living there. But the last time they tried to remove them, in comes the fucking NGOs and the human rights people and they're like, no, leave them here unless you can give them other accommodation. So it's almost like the city is reluctant to even get into that fight. The NGOs are going to fight the fight because their funding is based on how many people they are NGOing. You understand?
And there was
At least that's how I think of it. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm not saying I know everything, but I work there and I kind of notice a trend and I'm like, why the fuck are these people doing it? Why would you want people to stay in a building that can collapse anytime? You know, do you want them to die?
But there's some like absurd stories you hear about the CBD.
But wasn't there a gas explosion?
There was a gas explosion in Breeze Street, underground. Again, there's been a very, very poor, in certain industries and areas of government, let's call it, where they failed to maintain the infrastructure. Remember here in Durban, last year, 2 years ago, December, there was shit in the sea.
Yes.
Couldn't swim. People were getting E. coli poisoning. How did that happen? It's because at these sewage processing plants, somewhere up the chain, somebody fucked up. Got a 200 million rand tender, did fuck all with the maintenance side of the thing and just chowed the money. You see, the more and more that happens, this infrastructure starts to collapse. We see it in our healthcare sector, we see it in water and sanitation, we see it in ESCOM is a clusterfuck. A lot of the problems in the CBD, like there's a sewage issue in the CBD where if a building, like in a hijacked building, when a building is hijacked, nobody is overseeing the compliance of that building. So the electricity that's been cut off is now connected via bridging, via Isinyoga tendencies. That's a fire risk. People can get shocked because these are open wires that are laying there purely because they're trying to supply electricity. If a building is 100 units and each unit is supposed to be occupied by 2 people, you're looking at 200 people occupying the building, 200 people using the toilet. If you've got 10 people per room occupied, if 2,000 people occupy, that's too much shit for the system to deal with. It's going to pack up.
Yeah.
See, so you've got an occupancy problem. No one is overseeing this stuff, or certainly not overseeing it to the degree that they should.
Yeah.
You've got this influx of undocumented, illegal migrants. So you think there's 2 million people in the Joburg CBD. There's not 2 million people. There's like fucking 6 million. Now what?
Justice.
The infrastructure can't handle, the
load.
infrastructure is now overcapacitated.
Yeah.
So when Tudula says something like, the healthcare infrastructure is undercapacitated for the number of people that the nurses need to serve. There's 20 nurses there. Each nurse can see 5 people in an hour. That's 100 people. If there's 600 people in an hour, what the fuck is the nurse supposed to do?
Yeah.
So what does the nurse do? She says, fuck that, I'm on a break. I'm not doing this shit. I don't get paid for this. Can't force her to do it. You can say you took an oath and blah, blah, blah. But to expect a doctor to operate in theater for 36 hours purely because the volume of people that he needs to operate on requires it is not fair. They're not getting extra money for doing that. So they're not incentivized financially. And they are human beings. 36 hours without sleep. That's
error.
not a guy that you want operating on you or your child or your loved one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the doctor is half asleep. How is he supposed to concentrate on doing that operation? So the knock-on effect of this failure to close the borders, failure to capacitate industries to a level where they can handle it. Now we live in the results of it.
But aren't we all foreigners to South Africa?
No, we're not. I was born here in Vryheid. This is my place.
But if you go back generationally,
Josh,
I don't want to go back.
Don't do
what
it.
do you mean?
Huh?
You
Don't
a
do
foreigner
that.
as well?
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No, your descendants are foreigners. Everybody's migrated here over years.
Oh,
The Zulus
Josh.
as
Yeah,
well.
Josh, you open chats racist.
No, it's
You're
facts,
you're opening up a can of
It's
worms.
You know
facts,
what?
though.
Just-
we all foreigners to some
Except
extent.
Chucks.
Yeah.
Gayton.
Please go Gaten, bro.
Get it? But what I'm saying is, we over the years and years, I'm talking hundreds of years, we've all migrated here. Now we've got Congolese guys even playing in our Springboks team, whose parents have gotten their papers after years. He's playing for the country.
Right.
So those people are also coming. I'm assuming that they came here at a stage and they also didn't have the right documents in place, right?
Well, maybe they came with the right
Maybe
dog.
they did, maybe they didn't.
I'm
That's
not
a
sure who
maybe.
the Springbok is, but I think it's that first fucking
There's 2 of them that are
Okay.
both foreigners.
Let me put it this
Congolese
way.
guys, yeah.
The chances are, if you're playing in the Springboks, right?
Yeah.
If we look at the majority of players in the Springboks, obviously we love a story like a Mampimpi.
Yes.
Or we love a story like
Yeah.
a Siya Kolisi.
Yeah.
But hey, Siya Kolisi went to Craig College, fam. It's not
Not the same.
Tanzania High.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How did he get into Craig College?
Yeah.
Right? Let's look at that journey. When he was in Craig College, what sort of support structures were there so that
Yeah.
he could develop as a rugby player to get to that height? I don't know for sure, but I'm willing to bet that at the point at which Siya Kolisi was in Craig College, he probably had medical aid. Right? So he's not taking away
Yeah.
from the poor guy in Umlazi that needs to go to Addington.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, the bra that is taking away from those people's, remember, it's limited resources. Like I'm saying, the 3 of us can go to the private hospital, use our medical aid card. It's actually unfair. If I could get the medication I get for my son and pay the 3 grand for it every time, I would. Because I also feel like, why am I, you understand? But I'm a citizen, I pay taxes, so I go and I get the fucking medication. But I'm just getting 1 box of tablets. My argument is, when you start drawing on these resources unfairly from people who genuinely
I
need
hear
it,
you.
they now start to not have enough. So at the Springbok player level, I feel like that's someone who comes from a certain degree of privilege. I mean, I don't know the Oak, I don't know his story. I'm also we're just having a chat. In that, if someone comes into the country legally, like if you are Nigerian, Congolese, wherever you're from, This is why, like the whole European argument, they say, oh, Europeans are settlers and they're foreigners, they must also get out.
Yes.
I'm like, they talk about how these Europeans in Cape Town, my bra can attest, Exodus are nice. They come, they buy their own houses, they pay for their own stuff. They are fine. I don't have an issue with them, they can stay. Because they're buying these expensive houses and they're contributing in some way, shape or form to the fiscus by spending their money in Cape Town or choosing to spend their money and live in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're paying taxes because of the various industries that they're in, I don't know them individually. I'm just saying, these are not people that are coming in to be a burden on the state.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of immigrants are coming in to be a burden on the state.
Illegally is the key word.
Illegally, yes. And when you say that we are all immigrants, yes, fine, we can have that chat about going.
Yeah.
My great-grandmother was
not
a Zulu woman,
yeah.
and my great-grandfather was a
European.
an Italian man, Mr. Paladin.
Yeah.
That story you were telling, we had a similar family line where
Exactly.
I've got a cousin who I met only 2 years ago. She's white. She didn't even know that we exist.
Yes.
You understand? Because when the family split, when the twins that they had, one was white, one decided to stay and be colored, one decided to be white.
Yeah.
The one who decided to be white married a white and had semi-whites. The white was semi to the point where these ones came out and they are like fully white. They have no, you understand, identity with their Zulu great-great-grandmother. They don't even know.
Yeah.
That their great-great-grandfather had also married a Zulu wife at some point. So we can have that chat to say, where do we all come from?
Exactly.
But then it's like, which direction should I go? Should I fuck off back to Italy?
Yeah.
Or do I align with Masbia and go back to my homeland in Freiheit? Like, you understand? So
What I
when
was
you
trying to
put
say,
yourself into that thing, it's like, where does it end? How
Yeah.
many generations do we go
But
back?
if you, like, for example, the kid born in South Africa now, right? From African migrants that are here illegally, right? He's obviously born into this country, right?
Yeah.
Is he now South African?
Well, the law says he is, because if you're
Right.
born here, you are automatically a South African citizen.
Correct. So how
Which is
can
the
he?
issue.
How can he be denied healthcare there?
Right. So let me ask you this. If I leave Zimbabwe,
Right.
right, with my wife,
Okay.
who is 8 months and 15 days pregnant,
Close to pop.
it's 2 weeks from popping. I jump the border,
Yeah.
I get inside. I make my way to Polokwane, which is like, let's call it Polokwane because it's the closest town I can think of to the border. When we get to Polokwane, I'm there, I'm staying in a back room or Airbnb or flipping, I don't know, what do you call this thing? A sleep easy, a Formula One for 2 weeks. Hey, my wife is popping. I say to the hospital, give birth. I've been here for 2 weeks with a 9-month pregnant person. Wouldn't you say I crossed the border for the sole reason of giving birth here? Why?
Yeah.
The hospitals in Zim are a clusterfuck. I'd rather come here so I know I'm guaranteeing the safety of my child. Should that child still get citizenship even though I came in with that scallum style for 2 weeks? Again, where do we draw the line? Which children qualify and which ones don't?
That's what I'm saying. It's so
if we
hard.
say all of them
Yeah.
do, bro, we're going to have a lot of 8.5-month pregnant.
Because it's so hard to draw the line. That's what I'm saying with foreigners, right? As a whole, from the way I look at things. Because to some extent, if you look at it historically, we have all migrated here. Right?
Yes.
Every tribe, the Bantu tribe, the Zulus
Right.
of nowadays, they're also migrants to the land, right?
Yes.
From what history
From
says.
Upper Africa.
From
or
Upper
where-
Africa, right?
Yeah.
But now you go 100 years back, and they also probably weren't documented coming into the South African space like lots of
Yeah,
Europeans
but
as
those
well.
days there were no borders
Yeah, I
at
hear
all.
that.
So it's like in the age of borders, you know, and I've heard a similar chat with the Europeans because Europeans also took in way too many migrants.
Yeah.
The fucking place is falling apart. The Americans, too many people through the southern border, place is falling apart. Trump launches ICE to get them out. Because when you let the numbers creep, where it's like, oh no, but they're born here, so let them stay. Oh no, shame, they're running away, they're economic migrants. Oh no. You get to a point where it just becomes too much and then it tips over, where now it's unmanageable and completely unsustainable. We have a social grant system in South Africa, which when Nelson Mandela instituted it, I think in 1998, it was something like 2 million people were getting social grants. 25 million are getting them now.
Sure.
25 million people in 25 years, that's 1 million people a year. On a tax base of 7 to 9 million.
Yeah.
No. That's half the country. How many of those social grant recipients are foreign nationals? Some that got citizenship because they jumped the border. Some that gave birth in the country, so now their child is South African. You see what I'm saying? But then now we start spiraling now. Now we're like, hey, guys.
But,
You see.
but why I brought up the Springbok guy for me is because he's celebrated now because
Yeah.
he's a Springbok.
Like
right?
peace, bro. Peace them Tawariras from Zim.
Foreigner.
But Tuagi to peace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the moment it's he's a foreigner at the hospital, delaying the system, putting stress on the economy.
No, Josh, the key is illegally.
And
Yeah.
But no,
Where are they in the tier of
it's
class?
Not, it's not
Yes.
only illegally.
Yes.
It's not
Because-
only illegal oaks that are being denied.
But
no,
Warras just said,
they're denying anybody who's not
Yes,
South
that's what I'm
African.
saying.
but Warras, you just said if you don't have an ID, is it?
If you don't have an idea, but let's say
Is
you
it
have
a South
a
African
no,
ID?
so say I've got a passport and I've
Yeah.
got asylum papers
Yes.
because that's how cats are here. They've got
Yeah.
asylum papers,
Yes.
a work permit, or a business visa,
Or study-
or a tourist
study
visa, or a
visa.
study.
Yeah.
They don't want anybody
also
who's
getting
not
denied.
South African.
Not a South African.
Yeah.
But again, even the guys that have got that paperwork,
Yes.
again, it's like, where do we draw the line? So do we allow the work permit guy, the business visa guy,
Exactly.
and not the tourist visa guy and the asylum guy? Like, who do we allow and who do we not allow? And that's what Tudula is like. We don't allow anyone.
Exactly. That's what my problem is. Because
Yes.
if you look at the videos,
But you're
people-
saying we're all foreigners.
No, well,
To-
that's
no.
the other argument.
that's
Yeah.
well, I'm just saying historically we're all foreigners, right?
Yes.
But what
But
I'm
we
saying,
have IDs.
we have IDs
So
now
we
because
can
it's
get into the
many
hospital.
years later,
Yeah.
right?
But also, let me say this,
Yeah.
right? If those visa cats, like the ones that are on this favor system,
yeah,
asylum papers and whatever, like a lot of the Pakistani O's and these O's running spaza shops, they've got asylum papers. Asylum from where? Like, how did you asylum from Pakistan to here? You need to asylum from Pakistan to India.
yeah.
How the fuck did you asylum halfway around the world? It doesn't make sense. Trump said the same thing. He's like, oh, they're leaving Venezuela. They're skipping 5 countries and then they're asyluming here. Aye, you must asylum from Venezuela to Argentina.
I think it's because
or
people
whatever.
are
I don't
as you
know the
saying,
map.
looking for a better future for their kids.
That
They're
is
like,
not the
it's
terms and
gonna happen
conditions
in
of
Peru. Or,
Asylum
but
seeker.
that's not asylum conditions.
Yes.
Asylum is, I live in Somalia. They're killing us here. I jumped the border into flipping Ethiopia.
Okay.
Again, these are not factual. I don't know geography. I didn't take
Yeah.
it, but I know the O's are full up here. I know they've commandeered
Yeah.
Fordsburg. I know that when you go to Cape Town, if you request an Uber, the chances that your driver that picks you up
Yeah.
is a Somalian guy who knows one phrase, "Dis reg my broer," very high. His name is going to be Mustafa, but he's not even Mustafa. He's fucking Ali. I don't want that. Therefore, I take a meter taxi when I leave the airport in Cape Town. Because Cape Town is fucked. Sorry, Cape Town. Cape Town is like seriously foreign.
So then,
And again, it's foreign to the point where unsustainable.
you know, with this foreigner chat, why I don't really enjoy the way it's painted most times is because foreigner, black guy, right? You're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a black guy, a black lady. cool.
Majority.
Right? But how many white people do you know living here that say, oh, no, I've got a British passport. I've got dual passports. I've got...
But do they have ID?
But they have both, some of them.
Yeah, but do they have an ID?
Yes. But
Then they are in.
why-
Because
Yeah.
we have to, remember, we have to have a standard.
You do, but I'm just saying, how can you have both? Is that legal? I don't know.
You
That's what I'm
can,
asking.
because internationally, your British internationally, if you are of that lineage,
Right.
you can have that passport. Trevor Noah probably has a Swiss one because his dad is Swiss. I'm making an example.
Right.
But he doesn't have a
'Cause
Swiss
he's
ID.
No, but he can probably apply.
Oh, so
for
it's a
Swiss-
British passport,
yeah.
not a British ID.
But Trevor Noah is also a billionaire. That nigga can buy citizenship in any country in the world.
you want.
It's like Andrew Tate said, he can live in 5 jurisdictions. Because,
Yeah.
for example, if you want to move to Malta, you can become a citizen via investment. If you want to move
Yes.
to Cyprus, I think you spend like 300,000 or 400,000 euros
Monaco,
or whatever the number
same
is.
story.
You in. So I can do that if I've got 400,000 euros. Then I just stash that one.
Yeah.
So in the same way, these people have benefited from their British lineage or their Irish lineage or their Italian or Greek or Portuguese. Because a lot of white people say that, but they've got IDs. Their families have a lineage in South Africa. And most of them, and this is just a fact, they are not a burden on the system. When you go to these hospitals, there's no whites, bro.
But there was a point.
And the whites that are there are those poor ones.
But there was a point where someone from that lineage was not legally here,
Yes.
right?
There
That's
was.
what I'm saying.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. So
But that point was not in
It
recent
wasn't as-
memory. Yes.
Yes.
Because now, in recent memory, we've
Yes.
got the crisis.
correct.
A good example is when India was a British colony,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they allowed the movement of Indians from India into
the-
Britain,
yeah.
right? And vice versa. Remember that India always accuses Britain of basically taking billions and trillions
Yes.
in resources
Jewels,
and whatever.
crown
So they
jewels, yeah.
allowed it for a long period of time. But then what England started doing in recent last 10 years, Angela Merkel, the German chancellor, she was the president basically. She was like, yo, as Europe, because of what we did to the world previously, we need to help these cats. So we're going to start letting in migrants from Morocco, Algeria, Syria, Yemen,
Yeah.
all problem countries. This is the equivalent of I'm staying in Umhlanga, and because I come from a history of what, I think I'm just going to start renting out rooms in my posi to people from Wentworth.
Yeah.
Someone's going to get stabbed in the house. It's likely.
Yeah.
Not to say all people from Wentworth stab people, but Wentworth has got problems of Wentworth nature.
Yeah.
Should we go and fix the problems in Wentworth, or should we start trying to save who we can from Wentworth and putting them in Umhlanga? It's not going to work. Because chances are the people from Wentworth are going to come to Umhlanga and still be from Wentworth.
Okay.
The thinking is that if I take the Wentworth guy and I put him in Umhlanga, I'm saving him and then he's going to change. But the pattern that we're seeing in Europe is that you are taking the guy from Yemen, Afghanistan, that came from a shithole country. When he gets to England, he has no intention of changing to acclimatize, to assimilate to British culture. That price coming there and he's talking about, yo, these 13-year-old virgins are looking lacquer. No, that's not how we behave here, sir. But then in Afghanistan, he's chowing 13-year-old virgins all day and no one is putting him in jail. So when he comes across, he comes with the same behavior.
Yeah.
When I Show Speed was in Norway, bro, he got ripped to pieces. Not a single Norwegian blonde-haired, blue-eyed person came to see him at the hotel. It was just Somalians and Ethiopians. How? You understand? How the hell?
Yeah.
In Norway, Sweden, go and Google Sweden's rape statistics. One of the safest countries in Europe 10 years ago. Once that Angela Merkel European doctrine of let everybody in started, it's got one of the highest rape rates in the world.
Yeah.
Because now they land there, these things have got blonde hair, blue eyes. They're going mad. Because they know a certain way of behavior. As I say, they're not assimilating to the culture. And because it's being done in unchecked numbers, it's falling apart. Yes, there is a system where you can bring people in, like the rugby players.
Yes.
You're bringing those in who come in and they benefit from the system because they assimilate to the culture, number one. And number two, they are not a drain or a burden on the existing resource. They come with their own resources. And then you've got this massive 99%. They come with fuck all. They are trained on the resources and they are not assimilating. When you come into Joburg CBD, there are entire sections of CBD where you know this one is a Zimbabwean section. This one is a Nigerian section. And honestly, the people are not mixing seamlessly. The local people hate them. They hate the local people. There's areas and pockets where these criminals are known syndicates, but it happens to be a Zimbabwean syndicate. And the business that they're in, stealing high-end vehicles and moving them across the border. You've got Mozambicans that are chopping numbers on cars. They specialize in that shit. You've got the Rolex gang. Where's the Rolex gang moving the watches to? Who's buying the watches? You've got a drug problem. Who's bringing the drugs? I can tell you now, Zimbabweans are not selling drugs. You see, now what do we do? Because we've allowed these numbers to come in unchecked. We've got no control. We have no concept of how many people are even here.
Yeah.
And whose burden is it? Most of the decision makers, like I said, most of our leaders, they're the best business people to have ever existed in life. Some of them are worth 300-400 million US dollars. They own 4 mines. And then you're like, what is this guy's background? No, he was in the struggle. Yeah, but how the fuck is he running a mining empire? You understand?
I hear that.
It's not a uniquely South African problem. In America, you've got the former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, one of the most successful traders of all time. This bitch is Wolf of Wall Street. She's worth 300 million, but her government salary is 180,000 a year. She's been in Congress for 50 years. She's insider trading. She gets all the info on which shares are going to move which way. You understand? We've got a situation where we've got all of these loaded motherfuckers that are in government and in ministerial positions. They are the guys that are supposed to make the decision about how many people do we let in? Is a child born here a citizen? You understand?
What are
Who
the
can
rules,
stay, who
but
can go?
It's obviously the rules have to be changed then to assist with those issues.
The rules have to be changed to service the people who it's affecting. The guys that are changing the rules are driving around in a 13-car convoy with armed bodyguards in bulletproof vehicles. They're living in areas where the average cost of a house is 200 million rand. And they are consorting with people and hanging around people like them. How are you supposed to convince a government minister in that position or the president that, hey, brother, this is how blacks are living in Inanda. Inanda's got one of the highest rape rates in the world. The per capita rape rate in Inanda is out of control.
Sure.
How are you supposed to have a conversation with this gentleman to say, yo, this is the situation on the ground? How are you supposed to have a conversation with anybody in government, Home Affairs, all of them about, yo, this is the situation on the ground with illegal migrants? You can't, they are so out of touch. I don't understand how they can make laws that can be applied to service the people that are facing the consequences of their mismanagement. In comes Dudula. And they say, we'll help you. The same way buildings are hijacked is the same way essentially now the citizenry is being hijacked. And they're saying, we'll lead you, we'll help you. They're ignoring you. Next thing, people are going to get burnt with tires.
Sure.
Because people are getting frustrated to the point where they're going to do something.
Yeah.
Then it's a fuck up.
Yeah, I hear that.
You see?
DJ Warras, the agenda is agending.
The agenda must agenda.
Yo.
But let's not worry about that, guys. Let's get money. Let's avenge apartheid. And
In a positive light.
In a positive light.
Yes.
And do yourselves a favor and go.
Bro,
look.
and you know what I would encourage people to do? This is my solution for racism. Okay? I learned it, like I said, with my guy, Teens. Get to know people of other races. Everybody hangs out in pockets. You understand? I like you guys. You got a shits and gigs dynamic going on, yeah?
Thanks.
You understand what I'm saying? Josh is coming with a foreign Mexican speak. You understand? Chucks, I know he came in illegally from Malawi.
Yeah.
And he got an ID.
He's a stunning yellow bone.
Right?
Stunner.
So I feel like the more cultures, the more races mix, cultures will mix. And you'll see that all of this, because when you sit with different groups of people, you understand that these people have got no concept of how the other side lives, how other cultures live. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
But when you spend enough time with these people, you'll see that, hey man, we are more the same than we are different.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that's where these walls will start to come down.
Yes.
Because until that happens, I promise you, the government's not going to fix anything. You can't legislate love. You can't legislate non-racialism. I know it was a great dream that Mandela had. It was a vision, but it's not working.
I think it also starts at home as well. Because, when you're growing up, like you were saying with the guy who had all the generations of racism, it's how you parents talk about other races in front of your kids.
Yes, sir.
So that you don't indoctrinate them coming up. They don't understand. They mustn't even see that type of hatred.
Yes.
Yes. And it happens. Sometimes your mom will be driving in the road and something happens in traffic that pisses off, and she just throws a racial slur, and then
the child hears that.
The child hears that. It's like, eyeball, and then
Picks it up and goes and repeats it.
picks it up,
And
and
even,
That's why they say racism's learned.
yeah.
True. But also think about,
Learned.
there's a classism chat, right? Like you can apply classism to the illegal immigrants. Those European ones that are in Cape Town, supposedly that occupy the Atlantic seaboard, they've bought houses of 50, 60 million. Bro, they're in a class bracket and an income bracket where these problems don't affect them. But because the problems don't affect them, they are not a problem to the system. They are not a burden on the system where, like I'm saying, where the crux of the problem is. And then in a school environment, if you think about schools like, think of all the private schools around here. Think of those private schools where rugby players come from. You know, where the vast majority of your Springboks come from. Your flippin' Grey College and your Hilton and your... Look at how there's cultures mixing there, there's races mixing there. And you'll find that those schools are the least racist because we're all in the same income bracket. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
But down here, at this level of the class bracket, most schools, Emalokshini, like in the Kasis, everyone there is black. They're never exposed to white people. They're exposed to white people at the point at which they're already adults. That one can't work. You understand? If you go into like your Krugersdorp and those type of towns, a lot of the schools, those Afrikaans schools, Lucas Meyer and what, those schools are still majority white. So they're never exposed to black people. So now it's almost like a clash. Because they only meet up with this thing after they matriculate, and then it's like, oh, can't blow with those O's because remember everything I've heard and what's
From
the
mom and
stereotypes
dad
are.
and all
That's
that.
it.
Learn
That's, we've got a long way to go from a transformation perspective until we fix that, because there's nothing you can do about, you know, the different economic brackets that people live in for now. You also can't halt the whole thing and just make everything equal for everyone. It's not going to happen. Those who live in the Cape Flats don't live in Camps Bay. And those who live in Umhlanga don't live in flippin' Newlands East. It is what it is. But at some point, we've got to have this thing where like more conversations are happening between people of multiple cultures and races. So they can start unlearning whatever those stereotypes were that they had and start seeing that we are more the same than we are different.
Sure. Wow.
So.
Thank you, shitters.
There will be a part 2 to this conversation.
There has to
Keep informed. Thank you very much, DJ Warras.
Thanks, Warras.
Take it easy. If it's easy, take it home.